you know, as I work on making sure to stay financially stable and to make sure that I'm doing the right things to pay off debt and really just prepare my life, I find myself, at times surrounded by people who feel the opposite way, if that makes sense. So recently, one of the best things I've been doing to stay frugal is to honestly meal prep my food. This has helped me out a ton because it keeps my life pretty simple because every 4 to 5 days I really don't have to worry about what I'm cooking because I already know what I'm gonna make. And I eat the same 3 to 4 meals every day. And it's usually pretty healthy. I still go to the gym, making sure I'm getting my calories in and protein. And so I feel like I bring the same meals to work at my job. And when I do so, people always now kind of ask me a bit like, hey, are you okay? Or, what's going on? Or why are you eating the same thing every day? And in the beginning, it was always like, oh, like, why do everybody keep asking? But now I realize that people are kind of shocked that I'm doing it. And two, they probably know that they can't do it or not willing to do it. And so therefore, they're kind of wanting to ask more of it of me. And I don't want to say necessarily make fun of me because they're not doing it in a mean way, but they're definitely, giving that little side eye. Which, at first it was kind of like, like, all right, whatever. Sometimes you try to explain yourself. But as I've gotten, more used to it, it's kind of like, you know, I don't really care anymore. People can say what they want to say and ask you what they want to ask. But I've learned now that no matter what happens, you know, even if it might not make sense right now, in the future it'll all make sense. And I have these people surrounded by me who might go out to eat and eat food every day, or people who don't do the right things. They tend to seem to have you know a lot of opinions and financial opinions as well too. And everybody seems to have opinion, which is normal in this day and age. But I tend to just do my own thing and focus on what I can focus on. It really puts in perspective for me just what it takes to be financially disciplined and to be financially successful. Honestly, I knew from a young age that in order to be financially successful or just successful in general, you really have to do things that others aren't willing to do. I've been thinking about discipline a lot recently and how it's important to still do things even though you don't want to do them and things that actually benefit you. Like for me, probably there's not days that go by that I don't want to go to the gym. Honestly, like sometimes I'm like I don't want to go. I don't feel like it. It's uncomfortable. Your body hurts. You sweat. And it feels like an inconvenience every time. But I know the lasting benefit that comes with going to the gym, and just how important it is on your body and how you feel, and the lasting effects, things that you don't see right away. You know, like when it comes to the gym, the effects from the gym you might not even see until months later, and then obviously like you'll feel it later on in your life, like when you're really older. And so that's why I still go because I don't just think about the now, I think about later. And I think the same way financially, like the stuff that I'm able to do now, if I keep the path, like I'll be able to get out of my debt. And my biggest debt right now is my car payment, my car loan. And so I got $9,000 left. And once I get out of there, like it's gonna be completely different. And I did a video the other day talking about financial aid and schooling and college. And now with that, who knows what's gonna happen there? So I need to be prepared if I have to pay for classes for that, because I definitely want to finish college. And then that doesn't account for obviously the stuff in life that you want to have fun with as well too. Like going on vacations, going out to eat whenever you want at times, and just doing fun events that cost money. It'd be a lot easier if I didn't have this debt. And that's why I have to do what I do now, because later on I won't have to do it. Just be extraordinary and simple minded, and be able to be trustworthy with the things you have now. So then later on you can be trustworthy with stuff later and with more stuff. And I feel like a lot of young people feel like they need everything now. The nice car, going out to eat all the time, the nice stuff in the apartment, this and that, nice clothes. And granted, some of that stuff is cool to have from time to time. However, you don't want to make it to where that stuff is derailing you financially, where you dig yourself a hole and now it takes you forever to get out. Even for me right now with my car, I told myself now I really want to pay it off car. I really do. And my car is definitely running up on miles. And it might not last another year or two. And when it does eventually break down to its final limit, the next car I get, I'm getting a really cheap, bummed up car, whatever it takes for the cheapest amount. I don't care at all right now for having the nicest car with nice features, any of that, because, you know, I've just learned right now that that's just not in it for me. There's just something more that I want. And right now, it's harder to get there as long as I have these car payments racked up over and over. It's just not good enough for me. And so I've learned that now. And nothing wrong with people who do have car payments. If you're able to pay it and you have a low interest rate, there's nothing wrong with that at all. But for me, I need something cheaper so I can go after something more. And I just think about it all the time now. And I'm obsessed with it, honestly. I'm definitely obsessed with it. There's nothing more that I want right now. Of course, there's things I still have to focus on in life. You still have to enjoy life and have fun. And I still plan to do that. And I still am doing that currently. However, I know the mission in my head and the things I'm trying to do. And if I can get past this one last hurdle, it'll change a lot. And of course, things in life are always going to happen. There could end up being something else that derails me that'll happen, and I'll have to deal with it when the time comes. Things always happen in life. So I'm not saying once this is done, life's just going to be easy and gloom and sun and rainbows and sunshines. That's not true at all. I know for a fact life's always going to have its rainfalls and its storms, but I'll be able to withstand it when the time comes. I've built a fortress, a fortress of solitude, able to withstand anything that comes my way, and I'll be able to deal with it when the time comes. And being debt free is a part of that. That's a part of adding to my fortress. Right now, with having debt, my fortress is leaking. There's holes everywhere. But once you're debt free, those holes get patched up, they get rebuilt, and they stand stronger than before, especially with the foundation that I'm trying to set now. So just be careful with your debt, be careful with what you have, and take care of everything.